Hey guys, welcome to Outlaw Edge. So I figured while I was using the stud welder, the Harbor Freight stud welder, I'd show you how to use it. There's been a lot of questions about it, and it'd be easier just to do a video for you, show you how it works. First thing first is when I have dents that are like this, great big dents, and then you see one right here, the main thing is prep first, to get them prepped so you can use the stud welder. And what I always do is I walk around the car, the vehicle that we're doing, and I'll take a chunk of tape and I'll put it so it kind of reminds me, hey, that dent's got to be pulled out. And then after the dent's fixed, then I'll go ahead and pull the tape, and I just use regular painter's tape or whatever, just something bright so you can see it. And then on this guy here, I'll go ahead and open the hood and I'll show you why you can't hammer and dolly this dent out, because there's a second layer behind here, and I'll go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So right here on the front of the hood, it's a great big huge dent that's here. You can see it from the side, it's really bad, and it needs to be pulled out. I mean, that's the only way you'd be able to do it. And the reason I say that is you can see that there's this brace right here. It's dark in here, but this brace is in front of that. So you can't get to that dent anyway. You can't stick a pry bar back in there. You know, I've already tried all that, thinking that maybe I can get in there. There's one small hole right here, but it's not even near the dent. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the stud welder on that and get this pulled out. So you can see here, this dent has paint on it, and the best thing to do is get that down to bare metal. The studs that are on the stud welder, they will not stick to that paint. So you gotta go ahead and prep that. And I'll get that prepped out right now. And you literally just need like a die grinder, or either a grinder with a grinding disc, like a flapper sander disc on it or something. And I'll go ahead and get those knocked out real quick. And you wanna wear safety glasses when you do this. And that's ready to, now that that's down to bare metal, that's ready to lock the studs on here, weld them on here, and pull them out with a puller. And then the other thing I did is I'll go ahead and show you what I built as far as the puller itself. I'm gonna lower this tripod down so you can see better. So what I did is the Harbor Freight puller, I didn't really care for it too much. It wasn't fast, and it was kind of a pain in the neck. And the one that came with it is this guy here. It has the weight and the handle, and then it has this guard so you don't smash your fingers, and it's a 2-pound weight. And then this guy screws on here. And then what it is it's just a cam, a rocker deal here that's a cam, and you stick the stud through the end of here, and then you lock that cam on there just by rolling it forward, and then you take this and you pull the dent out. Well, that wasn't working real good, and I didn't like how it was working, so I went ahead and took another puller, and you could use the same Harbor Freight puller if you needed to. This one's a little bit heavier. It's about a 4-pounder, and it's got a handle that you can hold on to real tight, and then you don't smash your hand. It has this stop here. And then what I did is I took a nut and threaded it on here, spot welded it on a pair of vice grips, and then took the nut off, or spun this off the nut, and then welded this on to the vice grips. And I set it up so that you could still take this off and put other attachments on if you need to. And all you have to do is weld the studs onto the truck or the car now, grab the studs like this with one hand, and your other hand pop it out, and then pull this open, and it lets go of the stud. Go to the next one, grab it, pop it out. Next one. I mean, it's super fast that way. And that was just a quick, simple tool that I made, and it works great. It works really, really well. So I'll get the camera set up, and then I'll show you how I use the stud welder to pull these dents out. So this tool here is the Harbor Freight stud welder, and it should have a part number on here, but it's I believe it's 61433. I'll try to put that down below in the description. But all you do is you have two different attachments. You have a small stud and a big stud, and this is the bigger stud here. And you want to slide this into the hole, And if you want to put the smaller studs in here, you just take this tip off with a wrench, change the tip, screw this tip back on, and it'll have the smaller hole in the center. And then all you do is stick that stud in there. And you want to wear safety glasses because sometimes it'll throw sparks. And I'm going to close that hood so it's a little bit easier. And then you have the Harbor Freight stud holder or stud welder with the stud in the end of it. You stick it on the metal, the bare metal, you push down, and then right here on top, there's a button. And you're gonna grab that button, count to about 3. You'll see it getting hot and red and smoking, and then about 3 seconds you let off. And you'll kind of get used to it, so you know if it doesn't weld enough, the stud will fall off. If it welds too much, it'll kind of burn through. But you have to make sure to ground it out, you have to push this down to the metal. And that way it'll start welding when you hit this switch. So now I got this pushed down here, and I'm gonna go ahead and weld a stud on, and that's with this button here. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. And then that one right there is welded on. And you don't wanna touch them because they're hot, of course. You wanna be careful putting these studs in here because this end is kind of hot. Another one on there, push down, push your button here. And like I said, you count to about 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and then you can pull these out, let go of the stud, and it'll just fall right out of the end of this. Drop another stud in there, and these will fall out if you're not sorry about that. Drop another stud in here, and these will fall out if you go like this. You don't want to, you got to be careful. So sometimes these will fall out of here. So stick it on here, push the button. And I think I'm going to put another one right here. Another one here. And remember to push down when you do this. That way it grounds out. And you can see that it gets red, it gets hot, and it throws a couple sparks sometimes. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close this hood a little bit better so it doesn't move on me. And then you wanna take your puller, and then you're gonna go down pretty close to where the stud is almost touching the metal, and lock the puller onto it. And you want to keep your hands out of the way right here. Oh, sorry about that. You want to keep your hands out of the way. It'll pinch the heck out of your hands right here when you come up, so you got to be real careful. So hold it back here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out a little bit, and you'll be able to watch this dent pull right out of the truck as long as that stud doesn't pop off. And you see it's almost pulled all the way out right now. I'm gonna go to the next one, and I'm gonna walk it back and forth on these so that you can, pull the dent out properly instead of just right in the center. Now that one pulled out nice. I'll go ahead and go to this one now. And like I said, you want to go down real close to the metal, to the bottom of the stud where it's on the hood or the panel that you're working on. And remember to keep your fingers out of the way. Now I'm going to go to this end, second to the last stud. Now see, that one pulled out. It wasn't welded good enough, but it's not a big deal. All you have to do is take your MIG welder and just throw a spot weld on that, and it'll be done. I pulled a little hard on that guy. They do that. See, like this one pulled out. And you might have to use, on a dent like this, you might have to use about 20 studs, spot welds. And when you get it done, you'll get it, ground down to bare metal, and it'll look good. Tap it with a hammer and get it where you want it, and then you can get it in a primer. And you can see this is almost all the way pulled out now, so. It's pretty close to being pulled all the way out. I could throw some more studs on here and pull this out, but you guys kind of get the drift. So the next thing you would do is you would take a grinder and just with a cutoff wheel and cut these studs off right flush with the panel that you're working on. And then after you do that, you can grind the whole panel, and then it's ready for spot putty, primer, or whatever you want to run on the panel. But it works really well, and you can see it's already pulled it out a lot. I can sit here and mess around with it and you know, pull it all the way out, but I'm not gonna waste your time doing that. And that's I've had this Harbor Freight stud welder for 3 years now, and I've used it almost every single day. And it works really well. You know, I'd highly recommend it now. You know, now that I've used it a bunch, and I really like it. And I like how it's got the small studs, because the small studs on the thinner sheet metal. This truck is pretty thick sheet metal, but like on the newer cars, on the thinner sheet metal, you can take those small studs and zap them in there. And you can actually weld a piece across. Like if you have 5 or 6 studs, you can weld a piece across from it and make a jig or a setup on your puller that grabs all those and pulls them at the same time. You can pull a big panel out, and I've done that before. It works really well. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a thumbs up. If you give me a thumbs down, please leave a comment and tell me why you gave me a thumbs down. Please support my channel and sub my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell. Thanks for watching.